So our guest today is a wonderfully gifted soul historian, spiritual counselor, and psychic medium, Omena McGee. Omena is short for Philomena. Omena was born in Ireland as the third of 9 children and raised in poverty by a single mother. Even as a child, she could see events that were going to unfold in people's lives. And when she was 12, she repeatedly told her mother something bad's going to happen to, someone close to them. Unfortunately, it turned out to be her own mother. Her mother was killed by a drunk driver while walking back from Omena's grandmother's house one evening. Omena and her 6 siblings were then sent off to an orphanage, which at least offered them indoor plumbing, 3 meals a day, school uniforms, and shoes to wear. The children could only stay at the orphanage till age 16. Then they were found a job and a place to live. Now, Omena had visions of working at a beautiful estate, Rusborough House, a mansion owned by the richest family in the world at the time. She already believed in manifestation and affirmations, and she repeatedly told a friend of hers who already worked there, "I'll work at Rusborough House too, and nowhere else. That's where I'm going to be." And shortly after her 16th birthday, Omena was told she would be working at Rusborough House as an upstairs maid. So she went from this orphanage to a millionaire's mansion, and living and working there and reading his books, she says, opened her soul. It gave her hope and healed her broken heart. And she dreamt of moving to the U.S. She did emigrate to the U.S. in 1965 at age 18 with only a 6th grade education. She married and gave birth to a daughter who passed suddenly as an infant, and then had, after that, two more children, 2 sons. While she was coping with the loss of her baby daughter, Omena worked full-time, raised her children, earned several college degrees, including a master's degree in human services. And she spent more than 30 years in the human services field as a counselor and social worker. But her full mission is to educate people about the soul. She's a soul historian. She uses her psychic gifts to help us understand why we act and feel and think the way we do. And she can then quickly identify our core issues with honesty and compassion, and offer practical solutions that are easy to follow. As a soul historian, Omena can connect you with your soul and provide you with the answers you need for this lifetime, including insights into other lives we've lived and soul purpose. She offers personal coaching sessions for those who are seeking a deeper understanding of themselves and the people in their lives, including, traumatic events. So welcome, Omena. We're very happy to have you here.
Well, thank you, Caroline. That was quite an introduction. I hope I can live up to it.
Yes, absolutely. I've worked with Omena. We've been on a radio show together, and I always say, for my money, and I've had sessions with her, and I say, for my money, she's as gifted as the late Sylvia Browne, and even more in a lot of ways. I just want to ask a basic question about that. I noticed that we do have a caller or 2 on the line, but I want to ask, I've noticed that people will come into a session with somebody who's a channeler or a psychic, and everybody has preconceived ideas about their life, but they also have strong preferences about what they want to hear as being true about their lives. For instance, they'll say, well, the person I'm seeing now, is that my twin flame? Because, they are nuts about this person. They're in love with them. And so they're not, they're not being very objective. And then maybe you or a psychic or a channeler like myself can see clearly this person is not their twin flame. Their twin flame's not even incarnated upon the earth. It's just someone that they're learning from at the moment. How do you deal with people not liking what they hear when you tell them the truth about what you see in their lives?
Well, what I do is I educate them about what twin flames do. Usually twin flames, which is the mental and the masculine and the feminine essence of the spirit, and only one essence will ascend down into the earth, and the other twin flame will stay on the higher levels. And they usually only come in together when they have a major change that they want to bring to the world. And the most notable characters or persons would be Jesus and Mary Magdalene. They're definitely twin flames that came in to change the world. And usually because we have such a desire to reunite with our twin flame, that's a burning desire that when we fall madly in love with someone, we think, well, they got to be our twin flames.
Yes.
But they're not. They're somebody to have a very strong soul connection to, and we would never get our karma done if we didn't fall in love with somebody, and that whole sexual energy stirs up our karma. It's like we have to ask ourselves, are we infatuated? Because the infatuation lasts about 3 months, and many people will identify with what made me fall in love with you so much for the 3 months. After that, I can't stand what made me fall in love with you.
Yes.
That often happens in relationships. So
yes,
it's about enjoying the infatuation. It doesn't mean that you have to be committed to that particular person for the rest of your life. If it goes beyond the 3 months, then you're lucky. You found a soulmate that you can definitely enjoy your life with. I think then that's a blessing. But twin flames are rarely ever our twin flames.
I agree,
I don't know if that answers your question.
It's hard for people, I realize, but a soulmate is still a huge blessing. But we'll come back to that. It's time for a short break. And again, I'm your host, Caroline Oceana Ryan. You're listening to the Empowered Lightworker. We're coming to you live from BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. When we come back, we'll speak more with psychic medium Omena McGee. Please call in with a question for Omena if you'd like. The number is 866-451-1451. Welcome back to the Empowered Lightworker. I'm Caroline Oceana Ryan. Our guest today is the amazing soul historian, spiritual counselor, and psychic medium, Omena McGee. I know we do have some callers on the line. Barbara, are you there? Do you have a question for Omena?
Yes, good afternoon. Barbara's here, and yes, I have a question for Omena. Can I go ahead?
Yes, that's great.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Hey, Omena, I'm at the age of 73, so I really don't. I'd rather have the truth than what sounds good and feels good. So I've been through all that, so let's just sit out my soul destination here. I live in a home that I'm not welcomed in. I'd like to return to Florida physically. Can you give me any guidance as to whether I'm actually going to make it back there? And how do I get there?
Okay, Barbara. Well, one of the number one things is because you're very dissatisfied where you are now. So you have to take an inventory in terms of what makes you happy.
Okay.
Because if you don't take the inventory, you may go back to Florida. It may please you more, but it may not make you happy. So it's really about... really about at your age is being able to sit down and find out what are the joys in your life that you would love to do, and where could you go to have the freedom to do that. Remember, you're a little bit of a pleaser. You like to please people. So that sometimes makes you very unhappy. So I would suggest that you pay attention to that, because you have a fear of rejection in there. So you want to please them so they don't reject you. But that creates some turbulence within you. Okay? So that's where you're going to do the inventory. You don't have to please everybody. You can love everybody. You don't have to like everybody. But you need to love yourself enough to be able to get what you want.
Okay.
That's good. Should she write down the things that are really important to her and really make her joyful? And I mean, that helps to make it clear, don't you think?
And you have to write down your fears of being rejected. You have to write those fears down. What do you do to please people so they don't reject you? They're not going to reject you just because you make a decision on what it is you want to do. And you can always say what you need to say with kindness.
Absolutely. Do you see this as a possibility then for Barbara to move back to Florida? You can see that as a possibility in her timeline?
Because that's her free will choice. That's your free will choice. But there's no geographical cure. There's no point in going to Florida if you don't get the core issue straightened out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree. It's just that I love the tropics. My whole being just lights up when I go back to my tropics.
Well, then just ask for help from your higher self and all the angels, and it'll happen. And make sure you deserve it, okay? You do deserve it.
I already deserve it. Wait a minute. I already deserve it.
Well,
or
good
feel
then.
that you
Now
deserve
start
it.
doing the inventory and start clearing up the energy so that it goes out there and makes a clear path for you.
All right. I thank you very much. I appreciate
You're
it.
very, you're very welcome. Good luck.
Thank you, dear. Bye.
You're welcome.
I don't know if we should. I have questions for Omena, and then we could take another caller. I just want to quickly ask about soul types.
Yeah.
Do you know how many there are, and can you name some of them?
7 soul types. I'm going to give them to you right now. There's 7 soul types.
All right.
There's a king soul, priest soul, sage, artisan, scholar, warrior, server. They're the 7 soul types. You got that?
Okay. I was just writing them down. Sorry for that blank.
Okay.
King, priest, sage,
artisan, scholar, warrior, server.
Is artisan, like, in other words, a creative person?
It can be, yes. Sometimes an artisan soul might come into this world to reclaim their creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And each soul has the positive and negative aspects.
Yeah. No, that's the truth. So if somebody's a scholar, they're good at studying and learning, but then maybe they get caught up in their head too much. Is that one example?
You mean in terms of, what do you mean by that? In terms of what? In terms of not living up to what they're supposed to be doing?
In terms of not allowing their left brain to run them and never listening to their intuition, because everything's got to be quantifiable. It's got to be an obvious equation.
No, that's not always. Scholar souls are able to develop clear, objective understandings for the good of all. Okay. So they can be very useful experts, and they can be authority on particular subjects. They study whatever their passion is, and they may become very, very good at, like Darwin. You know, he came up with a lot of theories that were very, very good, and the negative traits of a scholar's soul can get lost in meaningless theoretical issues that are impractical and of interest to no one but themselves.
Yes. Yeah. That's interesting.
That would be the Nixon or Trump would be an example of that.
Yes. So maybe they can go a little narcissistic. Yeah. Delusions of grandeur.
Absolutely, because they can really become very much where nothing matters, only whatever they have to say. That's where the positive ones want to definitely do things to enlighten humanity and for the higher good. That would be a scholar soul.
All right. What about if someone's a warrior soul? I've heard people say, but I know I'm a warrior soul, but I'm a peace activist. So how does that work? You know?
Well, that's the peaceful warrior. That's the peaceful warrior. I'm a peaceful warrior soul too, but if you decide that you're going to get on the wrong side of me, that's a whole different story altogether. A warrior soul, the warrior souls are very forceful and effective without being overbearing. And they're respectful, persuasive, they're courageous, they're protective. Churchill was a great warrior soul. And then if you have ones that Ivan the Terrible would have been on the negative side, they can be intimidating, oppressive, and they can approach you to get results.
Going to have to take a quick break. I'm sorry. We just need to take a short break. This is Caroline Oceana Ryan. You're listening to the Empowered Lightworker on BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. When we come back, we'll be talking more with soul historian and psychic medium Omena McGee. If you've got a question, it's 866-451. Welcome back to the Empowered Lightworker. I'm Caroline Oceana Ryan, and our guest today is the amazing psychic medium and soul historian Omena McGee. Now we've got a bunch of callers on the line. So, Kate, are you there? Do you have a question for Omena?
Here.
Wonderful.
Yes, and Caroline, I love you. Thank you very much. Omena, I'm at a crossroads here. I've been doing good work, but I'd like to see it open up more. What do you see career-wise?
What kind of work do you do, Kate?
I'm a psychic medium.
Okay.
And I'm also a minister.
Okay, one of the problems is you have a major block. That's stopping you from opening up. You have a major block about, you came into this world with a little bit of persecution complex, and that's from being persecuted in another time because you were a healer. You also have a big fear of failure. So your confidence is not up where it needs to be. And one of the things that will bring that up is totally trust in your team, your spiritual team that works with you. One of them is actually telling me now to tell you have to listen more.
Yes.
Okay. That you're thinking too much in your head, and it says to practice being silent, and they will give you the information. And stop worrying about people think about you.
That's excellent advice for a lot of us.
That's
Absolutely,
true, and
it
it's
is.
practice. You have to train the brain. You have to train. It's none of your business what people think about you. It's absolutely none of our business what people think about us. We have to train our brain to think that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
really important for you to work with your spiritual team.
Yeah. Can you sit down every morning and talk to your team, Kate? I find that very helpful for myself.
I do. My business is really good, but I want to get it going better, and I know it's within me. That means.
Well, I'm getting, Kate, that you want to go a little deeper. It would almost seem like you're a little bored with the norm, that you want to go a little deeper with the readings, and you have to remove the block. You have to remove that fear in order to do that. And the other thing is, try asking their person's soul to talk to you. You get all kinds of information with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of it.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, sweetie. Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. Huge blessings. And should we move on now to Ms. Robin there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
hi,
great.
Robin.
Do you have a question for Omena?
Hi. Yes, thanks for taking my call. I would like to know if Omena can tell me anything in my soul history that might be blocking me from developing some of my gifts where I could be of service in this lifetime.
Okay, what I want you to do is you've definitely got some blocks up, so just bring them down a little bit so I can look at your soul's history. And what do you do now?
Well, I'm in a transition and I'm unemployed right now.
Okay, but what did you do for work?
What were you doing?
I worked more in the corporate. I've dabbled with healing and, tarot reading, but that's never been an income for me.
Right. Well,
I feel like I have a lot of choices of what I could develop, but I really don't know what would serve me or serve the divine plan the best.
Well, that's part of the divine plan is the same as what serves you. That serves the divine plan all the same way. There's some fears around it there. You were a clairvoyant in the 13th century, okay? But you haven't gone near that. You definitely have the ability to be able to see clearly. You just don't trust it. You don't trust yourself to be able to see it clearly. One of the things I would suggest is that they're showing me as well that you are a people person, that you have healing hands. You might want to start practicing some healing energy or take some classes in healing energy so that you can learn to direct that. And that's going to help bring more clarity to yourself as well. There are some things that you have within you that you have to heal yourself. And you have to give up some things. You have to surrender a little bit and let go of some anger that you may not even be aware you have, but it's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you trust someone, to have them work with you around that.
Around the anger?
Yes. Sometimes we bury anger at a very early age and we don't realize how angry we are. The other thing is that you made an absolute decision at a very young age that nobody's going to tell you what to do. That has become a huge block for you. Okay?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a rebel.
Well, the rebel part is only hurting you.
Okay.
So, I would suggest that you start working on that and letting go, and things will open up much better for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Robin, and huge blessings to you. We can quickly take Angie's question. We might need to split it up, and come back to you after the break. But Angie, are you there?
Right.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Go ahead and ask your question, and we'll do what we can before the break. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is, I have been developing on my spiritual path mostly for the last year and a half. I would like to be a medium and would like to see what blocks and things for next steps I can work on.
Okay. Well, what I'm getting is that you have the power of manifestation.
Wow.
But you don't trust yourself with it. Yeah, you have the power of manifestation, and that's manifesting for the higher good and manifesting for yourself for the higher good as well as for others. It's like people can come and give you a request, and you're able to go in there, and if it's for their higher good, you clear out the energy for them, and you're able to help manifest for what they need. It has to do a great deal with a lot of healing you did way back in the time of the Spanish Inquisition. You lived in France at the time, and you totally denied your powers, and you're still carrying guilt around that. So you need to forgive yourself or do a meditation. You were a male in that lifetime, so you need to do a meditation, bring that male in, and forgive yourself for denying your own powers. You're sort of walking around with an absolute decision when I'm never going to do that again.
Welcome back to the Empowered Lightworker. I'm Caroline Oceana Ryan, and we've been speaking with our guest, psychic medium and soul historian, Omena McGee. Omena was just speaking with Angie, who's a caller, and asking about her work, I think it was. Omena, do you have any other comments for Angie?
No, just what I said to her. I would like her to just focus on that and totally trust that she's on the right path.
All right, that is wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so Alicia, have you got a question for Omena?
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
I know that I have a block. I don't know where it's from or which life, and I have yet to find out what I'm supposed to be doing. I've had several professions, and none of them have clicked. And currently, I'm a medical biller and coder, which is, I don't think, utilizing anything that I'm sort of meant to do. But anyway.
Well, what would you love to do?
That's just it. I don't know. And it seems like everything that I'm good at, there's no way to generate income.
Well, no, what I'm getting, Alicia, is that you're around somewhere between 5 and 7, and you're totally shut down. Something happened between those ages that you totally shut down and decide you were never going to let anybody know how you feel.
Well, yep, something did.
Okay, so let me explain that to you. What happens is you go on with life, and we as children, we often shut down during trauma in order to survive. What happens then is that we forget we shut down and we go into survival mode. So everything you do, every decision you make, every relationship you have, you reach out to the world is from the emotions of a 5-year-old. So your mental body is growing, even your spiritual body is growing, but your emotional body is stuck. And what we have to do is we have to go back and rescue that 5-year-old, give her a safe place to exist in, and have her integrate with the rest of you as she's growing. And you just, like, let's say, if something triggers you and you might get emotional or upset and not quite know what to do, then you have to be the parent to this child, you might say. You have to become your own parent, and you deal with the facts, and you tell her she's safe, you got it, you're handling it. This is a very quick way of doing it. That's how we do it. Okay? So that's your biggest block. It's very hard for things to come to you in a feeling world when the feeling world is blocked off. like I said, we're in survival mode. And then we do the things, we do things in life so we can survive and take care of ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you're missing a whole rich world. That's your biggest block right there. Yes. Yeah. That's your biggest block.
Okay.
Well.
Well, Caroline, will you give the resources to contact Omena at the end if we want to do further work?
Absolutely. I mean, her website is omena777.com. It's very easy to remember, but I'll give all that at the end as well. And I completely encourage and recommend, that anyone wanting to know the truth about their life, why they are where they are, and how to get out of that if you feel stuck, a session with Omena will help tremendously. She is very honest, as you can hear. If you don't like honesty, if you don't want to know the truth, then don't waste your time.
Exactly.
She's just incredibly straightforward, and it's fantastic.
This was exactly what...
I don't do fortune telling.
No,
I don't do future telling. But I can tell somebody what blocks they have that's preventing the future they want.
Yeah.
That's what I needed.
Which is what we all need. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Many blessings. Althea, are you there with a question for Omena?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you both. I'm just curious to know what my soul type is, and anything that you're getting for me would be appreciated.
What is your name again?
Althea.
Althea? Okay. Let me ask what your soul type is. I'm getting a sage soul. That you are a sage soul. Let me tell you what a sage soul does or does not do. You're also just give me a second, and I'll get it here for you.
Oh, a sage.
Well, they're not. The sage soul can be very naturally entertaining and articulate, and they can excel in communications with both wit and wisdom. That would be a mature sage soul. You're almost a mature sage soul. There's 7 rungs to each soul. You're on the 5th one of the sage soul. Now, you can also, if it's on the negative part, it can be over melodramatic rather than being real. You can love to hug the spotlight, loving the sound of their own voice, craving attention, rather than communicate with something of value. That would be the negative side. One of the things I'm being told to tell you, the ego of the soul and the ego of the personality, okay? This, for some reason, is important to you. The ego of the soul, of your soulality, is encouragement, gratitude, and observance. In other words, rather than getting involved in something, they're saying to observe more so you can learn more about yourself. And the negative part would be envy, gratification, and obsession. So it's really going between the personality of the soul and the personality of their ego, and choosing which one you want to be.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Well, do you have another question?
I was just open to whatever else you were receiving for me. In my past.
Yes, in your path. Well, what do you do now? They're telling me to find your passion. Your guides are telling me for you to find your passion. I think that there's a part of you that's very artistic and you don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
Okay. So you might want to, and also to believe more in yourself. You doubt yourself a lot. To pay attention to that.
There's some gifts that she hasn't paid attention to yet, or something that's just inherent in her spirit. Like some people really connect to nature or music or what have you, but they put that to one side,
Yes, and they don't express it. Like the positive traits is an expression of the true self or the soul, and the negative traits is an expression of the false self or the ego. Whether we're doing that to ourselves or doing it to somebody else, and it's for you to pay attention where your thoughts go, because everything begins with a thought.
Welcome back to the Empowered Lightworker. I'm Caroline Oceana Ryan. Our guest today is soul historian and psychic medium Omena McGee, and she's been taking questions from callers. So Derek, are you there? Do you have a question for Omena?
I do. Thank you so much, Caroline and Omena. I do have a question. My son is actually legally blind. He went blind very suddenly about a year ago. Just wondered if there's any news on that or any information, and anything from my guides would be appreciated.
What's his name?
Benjamin Joshua Holung. Yeah.
Okay, Benjamin. How old is Benjamin?
He's just turned 20 in another week. Doctors don't know what this is, but it came on very sudden. It's all atypical. They're rare, they say. And they say that there's nothing they can do. So, he has very limited vision now, like pinholes. So it's like tunnel vision in both eyes. Very, very limited. He's legally blind. And it came on very sudden. Within a few months, he just lost everything.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you this is part of his soul's journey. And and down the road, 20 years from now, his sight may come back. This has to do with his soul having to go inward in order to do the work that he came to do. And he's going to turn into an amazing young man. You're going to be absolutely, I get the shivers talking about him. He absolutely is going to surprise you, and you're going to assist him in every way you can to navigate the world. I see him with a seeing-eye dog, and he's going to learn Braille. He's going to come out of this with some amazing stuff that he has to do.
So in terms of direction, he probably has his own. He's trying to figure that out now, I guess. So I'll let him be.
Well, you're going to ask, you're going to involve him in his own care and what he wants to do. He may be a little resistant at first because it's a whole new world to him. But the beauty of it is that he has a memory of color. So he's going to be able to see in color even though he can't see with his, oh my goodness gracious, I just got the confirmation that this is to open up his third eye.
Yes.
This is to open up his third eye. He's going to be able to see with his third eye, and he's going to be able to tell you things because he can see it all in color. He can see it much clearer. So he's retreating from the physical world in order to do his spiritual work. He's quite a bright soul. He's quite a smart, bright soul. Yes.
Yeah, he thinks in movies. That's how he thinks. He thinks in movies.
That's part of seeing in movies is part of the whole clairvoyance part as well, except that he cannot now be distracted. He's going to develop this over time. This is going to be, I have to say, in a way, it's a blessing. He may not feel it right now, but he will down the road.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Is
there any messages from my guides at all in terms of...
From your guides? Wait, whoa. Slow down. Is there messages from your guides?
Absolutely, yes, please.
Okay, the message I'm getting is that you agreed to come in with Benjamin to be of service to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
Wonderful.
why you have a strong connection with him.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's quite a story. Yeah, I could see how brilliant a light he is.
Oh, I still have the shivers.
Yeah,
that's
very
a real
brilliant
confirmation.
light.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
He's going to do a lot. Yeah, that's a very beautiful story. I mean, it strikes you first as awful, but then when you start to see what's in it, it's amazing. So thank you so much, Derek, for calling in, and blessings to you and your wonderful son. Lynn, are you there? Have you got a question for Omena?
Kind of. I first want to thank you and Omena for this opportunity to join. I'm really grateful. I want to know what my guides have to say. I'm kind of at a crossroads right now, and I know that I need to trust more.
Yes,
but
you do.
I'd really like to know what comes up.
Well, they're not saying very much, really. They're kind of like they will not interfere with your free will choice, but what they are suggesting is to sit down and visualize 5 roads leading from you, and close your eyes and see which one you're going to pick. It has to do with more of building your character and, what they're saying are, stop being so timid. It appears that you were a little shy, that you have a shy personality, and they can help you with that, but they're saying stop being so timid. No, nobody's going to bite you. Nobody is going to hurt you. You're well protected, obviously. So it's about trusting yourself more than anybody else. It's about trusting yourself. So start having conversations with your higher self.
Oh, okay.
For guidance.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and you're capable of hearing your higher self as well. You really are.
Right.
I just want to quickly ask Omena. Sometimes people ask about the Akashic records. Is it possible, do you think, for the average person to go into meditation and see what's in their Akashic records, see the past lives they've lived, and maybe parallel lives, and why they're in this life? Or is that something that mainly it's for people who have your particular gifts?
No, I think it's possible for anybody. Maybe highly improbable, but definitely possible. People have to be aware, first of all, that they have a spiritual life. And oftentimes if they have quirks or quirky personalities, or they do something that's different, then they can ask, is this from a past life? But they have to be patient and aware for the answer to come. I always suggest people ask, and you'll be amazed at the amount of people that don't ask when they want an answer. And then you have to be aware. Could be something somebody says. It could be something that you see. It might be something you see and you say, oh, I'd love to do that. It could be any of those things that the message, because the universe doesn't have a sense of humor. It just shows you things, okay? So it's about asking the question and then being aware. But keep asking the question until you get the answer. Our soul's right would be to have our history available to us. That's how I learned all about my soul. That's how I learned all about everybody else's soul. I always ask.
Tuning in. And likewise, our life chart, our blueprint for this life, or our life chart, we can see that as well if we ask to. Tune in.
If we ask to. And blueprints have changed. So you've got to remember, you can always change a blueprint, because you may have had a blueprint before you come into the world, and it may not suit you, so you may want to decide to change it. So you can do that.
That's a really big issue, and I completely agree. And Omena, I just want to ask, because you talk to so many people who have dreams that they want to fulfill. They want to locate their life purpose, and really, they want to be fulfilled in life. What do you feel is the biggest blind spot for most of us that keeps us from either finding our life purpose or just, feeling joyful in life?
I think my experience working over the years with people, whether they're on a spiritual journey or just on a survival journey, or between both my spiritual work and my professional work, the biggest block is love, lack of self-love.
Yeah.
People find themselves getting sick or dying to know who loves them, or whatever it is that might get them attention in an unhealthy way, and a lot of lack of self-love and lack of self-trust. They're the blind spots. People are not aware that they have them. Because you have to understand, people are wonderful at giving love and taking care of people, but when it comes to themselves, they cut themselves short.
Yeah.
Just cut themselves short. All their energy goes everywhere else instead of to themselves first. It's okay to be first. It doesn't mean you're selfish. It means that you care enough about yourself to be of use to somebody else.
And then,
I don't know if that answers your question, but...
Well, it does. It's a brilliant answer, because then if we start to key into how we're feeling about things and really respect and honor, where we are in life and what our authentic response is to things and whether something's right for us or not, then we're keying into our intuition. We're hearing the voice of our higher self. We're hearing our guides more intuitively. Those nudges. We listen to them instead of ignoring them.
Yeah. And to open up to feeling the energy of all of the above. That's where the love comes in. That's feeling and knowing that there's nothing wrong with asking for a state of grace. Some people get so caught up they don't know what to do with their children's problems, their spouse's problems, their own problems. It's like, no, stop everything and just ask for a state of grace. And you get this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling of love, and then hold on to that. Think love. If you can't feel it, think it first.
Amen to that. I agree.
Yes. And you go around looking at stuff, oh, I just love that. Oh, I just love that. What does it make you feel when you say you love that? If it's a mountain, if it's an ocean, if it's a baby, whatever it is, it's about tuning in. How does that make you feel? Because that's a little touch of love.
Well,
something moves
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is a big part.
Yeah.
It's a big part of Omena's work to help us get in touch with that, with our authenticity. I can't say it. So her website is Omena, O-M as in mother, E-N as in Nancy, A, and then the number 777. Okay, it's 3 7s.com. Omena777.com.